Amongst the trees that towered over him, afoot on the springy moss that carpeted his walk, oblivious to the animals who cried out their warnings, he thought he was king. Little did he know that the jungle never bowed down to any man. Little did he know that I, the jungle's most loyal servant, lay in wait for him. I licked my lips. It wouldn't be long until his blood ran like sweet wine down my mangled throat. As noiseless as a shadow, I slunk after him. My breath whispered across the back of his neck. I reached out a finger and traced the air outlining the ridge of his ear. I almost licked the vein that throbbed under his jaw. He must have felt me, then, because he glanced over his shoulder, the small hairs on his arms rising. Of course, he didn't pay heed to his instincts. A lifetime of never being weary made him believe he was untouchable. He continued on, not realizing that I was less than a step behind him. I breathed in his scent. He was no different from the rest of them. Unable to help myself, I gave the lightest chuckle, so soft he wasn't even sure he heard it. But he paused, all the same. "Who's there?" he asked. His voice was even. There was not the slightest hint of tremble in it. Yet. But that was enough jest for now. It was time to begin. Leaving him, I took a shortcut through the jungle and positioned myself at a clearing. While I was all rotten flesh, cruel gashes, and gaping wounds covering my body, he would see only beauty. A woman in white, smiling shyly at him under the moonlight, her black hair floating like silk about her shoulders. "Will you help me, sir?" I asked, my voice gentle and clear and not relaying even a hint of the fury that churned within me. I spoke of how fearlessness was the gift of his birth. As it turned out, it was also his curse. "Of course, madam," he replied without even a moment's hesitation. I smiled. A real smile that would have shown my rotten teeth and putrid blackened gums, except his ignorance didn't allow him to see that. I led him deeper into the jungle, so deep that I was certain no one could hear the screams that would soon come. He followed me readily, a puppy who had just found a new bone. He grinned at me when I turned to face him, his eyes sparkling with expectation. And in a flash of anger that shot through me, I revealed my true self. Gone was the lustrous hair, replaced with chunks that fell away from my scalp, a tangled, stinking mess. Gone were the soft lips that he undoubtedly imagined grazing his own, my own ripped to shreds that were bloodied and foul. Gone were the soft hands, now turned to claws of a beast ready to hack at his pitiful face. I saw the grin melt off his face, replaced first by hesitation. Were his eyes playing tricks on him in the darkness? And then, finally, by fear. A shiver of pleasure hummed through me as his pupils grew and his mouth opened in a silent gasp. Blood was delicious, of course, but the look of dread in a man who was unspoiled by the horrors of the world was what led me to the jungle in the first place. It was what kept me here. Some men screamed when they first saw the real me. Others cowered, frozen in place, but not him. He turned around and fled. So he wanted to play. Wonderful. He wove through the trees, jumping over protruding roots and ducking past low-hanging branches, nimble and quick, but he could never be a match for me. I gave him a head start before I pounced forward on all fours, a creature birthed from the darkest depths of vengeance. I caught up to him in a matter of moments, using my nails to slash the backs of his ankles so he couldn't run any further. I crawled over him, trapping him under me, extending the claw on my index finger. I traced a line down his collarbone, enjoying the way his heart was pounding, the way his breath came out in desperate gasps, the way he trembled. He whimpered in horror as I widened my jaw all the way down to my chest and lunged at him, taking a large